After a failed IVF cycle, the pressure to move quickly to the next one can feel overwhelming. Clinics often encourage momentum and emotionally can feel safer to stay in motion rather than pause. But why rushing into the next IVF cycle often backfires, we explore why moving faster doesn't always move you forward and how repeating another cycle too quickly can quietly lock in the same conditions that shape the last outcome. If you've been told to change protocols, increase stimulation, or just try again, this episode challenges that and asks a more important question: what actually needs to shift in the biology before another attempt? If you're navigating next steps after a failed cycle and want to make a more informed decision instead of a rushed one, this conversation is worth your time. Let's go. Welcome back. I'm Sarah Clark, founder of Fab Fertile. For over a decade, we have worked with couples navigating IVF cycles, low AMH, implantation failure, and complex fertility cases using a functional fertility lens. If this episode is helpful for you, make sure you share it. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss any future episodes. In this episode, I'm going to share 3 clinical patterns we consistently see when couples rush into another IVF cycle. You're going to learn why recovery timing matters, how physiological stress compounds across cycles, and what actually deserves attention before committing to another round. Pattern number 1, your body needs time to recharge between cycles. So you rush into another IVF when you just have one next month. Is that the right move? IVF, as we all know, is physically demanding. And your body needs real recovery time to rebuild the energy before asking it to perform again. Even though the REI said we've got a race, we need to be able to be in charge of this and to be able to see how our body is feeling and be honest with ourselves. IVF is putting stress on your body through medications, injections, anesthesia, procedures that can all disrupt your sleep, put a huge emotional strain, which then impacts inflammation. We want to reduce inflammation, not add to it. So it's like you're running a marathon. You're not getting stronger by racing again the next day. You got to recover so your muscles and energy can have time to rebuild. Inside the body, the parts of your cells that make the energy, they need time to reset, repair after all this demand. So when the cycles are stacked too closely, the body can actually be depleted. Even when you do the next cycle, even if the labs look okay. Why does this matter? You've got lower cellular energy. That can affect how the eggs mature, how the embryo develops, how well the body recovers between cycles. So instead of building resilience, the system can slowly wear down. I think a lot of people that have been through IVF, this is how they feel. All of a sudden, all the things start getting worse. You start feeling horrible. Your hormones are completely off kilter, and your mood is all over the place. And typically during this, you're probably still working, so putting all this extra stress on yourself. So the biology improves during the recovery windows, not non-stop stimulation. Even if your clinic said, let's keep going, some patterns to look at so the embryo development gets worse or less consistent over the multiple back-to-back cycles. You feel more exhausted after each cycle. Your sleep quality drops or recovery takes longer. IVF is there. We need to deploy it at the right time. So rushing, this can backfire. That's pattern number 1. And some of us, I think if we stop for a minute, we intuitively know this. Remember, the body wants to procreate. So either naturally or through IVF to help, but we need to be able to get the foundation set up properly. Pattern number 2, your hormones need balance, not just more medication. So hormones work like communication. So suppressing or overriding them temporarily doesn't always fix how well the communication works. So the brain, ovaries, thyroid, and the stress hormones, they're constantly talking to each other. It's going to coordinate your ovulation, your egg development, your cycle timing. IVF medications are going to override that system, which is sometimes necessary, but it doesn't automatically restore a healthy communication underneath. So when the cycle is rushed, the body may not have time to reset itself. Its natural rhythm in between stimulation. So it's constantly resetting a computer without fixing the software system underneath. You could have these irregular cycles, uneven follicle response, inconsistent cycle outcomes, lining issues, unpredictable hormone levels. So more medication does not always equal better coordination inside the system. If we stop and think about this, we intuitively know this. But we want to override it. We want to rush because we're in a panic because we've been told that this is our last chance. But that's just talking to someone who uses surgery and medication as their only tool. and haven't looked at the foundation of where the eggs are developing, where the sperm is developing in the minimum of 90 days before this. So pattern number 2, it can just sometimes make things worse. And so one cycle responds well, the next one doesn't, even on the same protocols. They keep adjusting medications without seeing any improvement. It feels like you're just in a hamster wheel of keep doing this. We see a lot of people that come to us with poor response, failed transfer, great embryo, but it doesn't implant, pregnancy loss. All of this is devastating, heartbreaking, financially overwhelming, and we need to recognize this. A lot of times we're still working. This can put a strain on our relationship. And we've helped many people that have had failed IVF. A lot of them go on to get pregnant naturally, or if they do IVF the next time, it actually works. Looking to see what are the different patterns in the body to be able to address this. We've got a embryo audit checklist. If you've had a failed cycle or unsure of what actually should be evaluated before jumping into the next round, I've created this free resource, the embryo audit checklist. It helps you look at some past cycles, looking to see some different highlights and patterns and the systems in the body, looking at some of your blood work. You've been told it's normal and they say, hey, let's go. Have you looked at this? And so this is to be able to be your own advocate. You can access the embryo audit checklist. Send me a message at hello@fabfertile.ca, subject line checklist, and I will send it over to you. Pattern number 3 is your detox or your immune system can get overloaded. All that medication, all that stress, it's going to overload your liver. Like we see this all the time as a pattern with the people that we're working with, the clients we're working with. Your lymph system, the immune system. So the recovery time's too short and then your system gets congested. IVF medications create more byproducts for the body to clear, and it can increase inflammation. Your liver, your lymphatic system, your immune system normally clean this up, but they need help. They need time to do the job well. It's like cooking in the kitchen that never gets cleaned between meals. Why does this matter? A higher background inflammation, and I've done multiple episodes over the 8 years plus that we've done this podcast talking all about inflammation. The high sensitivity C-reactive protein, we regularly see that above 1, and that could be why the retrieval's not working, the transfer's not working, implantation, pregnancy loss. If you've got inflammation in your body, that could be why this is not working. That can impact implantation, tissue recovery, and overall the resilience of you. When this detox system is overloaded, it's going to then decrease efficacy of your system, and that's going to increase inflammation. Your inflammatory markers trend upward over time. You get more headaches, more bloating, more fluid retention, PMS, you're feeling sluggish between cycles. Those are all some common patterns that we see. Is your liver struggling? And that could be why implantation is not working with all these medications in your system. Rushing forward without supporting the body, you could have not good results, especially if you're a type A and you're like, I like to do something. I want to have action. It feels good where you're speeding along, but biologically, is that right for your body? Repeating the cycles, that can often just get the same outcome. Better decisions when we can actually look at the last outcome. Did the embryos make it? Did they arrest before a certain day? Was there implantation failure? Where did this fail? And be able to look at this and then back it up looking at all your blood work and your testing. If you're debating whether to move forward with another cycle and want a clear interpretation of your previous cycles and what they're actually showing in your body, a next step for you maybe our functional fertility second opinion. This is a couples-based review where we're going to interpret your history, looking at testing across the systems, and being able to make a more informed decision before committing to another round. Your partner is required to participate in this. We got to look at the full picture unless you're single. If that feels aligned, you can apply by sending a message to hello@fabfertile.ca, subject line fertile, and we will send you a form, we can get some information, and then we can sit down together and talk about a strategy to help look to see exactly what's been happening in your past labs and which systems in your body are affected, so then we can actually make a plan to improve the chances of this next IVF working. Take care.